Hello guys, welcome to Microsoft Azure App Services and Web Hosting session hosted by Microsoft Learn Student Ambassadors Kerala. Just I want to check whether I am audible. So if possible, please mention that in the comment section whether I am audible or not. Or if you're facing any issues in my voice. So if you can hear my audio, please put up that in the chat section. So we'll be beginning in a while. Okay, let's wait for a couple of minutes so that if there's some more people who is about to join, they can also join for the event. Okay. Am I audible, guys? So I think I'm audible. So we can wait for 2 more minutes and we can begin at 8:05. Okay, that's 1 more minute from now. So in the meantime, if any of your friends are willing to join this session, then please ask them to do so. This will be super beneficial for everyone because obviously web development and web hosting is something that everyone must be knowing. Okay. Okay, I think it's time. Let's start. So once again, hello guys. I'm Aravind Venugopal. I'm one of the Microsoft Learn student ambassadors from Kerala. So I'll be taking this session, and Advait will be monitoring this section throughout. So if there's anything that you have to clarify, or if there's any doubt with you, then you can put up in the chat section, and Advait will be replying for that. Okay. So once again, welcome to the session. So the session is on Azure App Services and Web Hosting. So let's actually dive in straight away. Okay. So these are the topics which I'll be covering in this session. So first, let's look at some basic things regarding Azure, which is a cloud computing platform offered by Microsoft. Then we'll be looking at the basics of a basic overview about Azure App Services. After that, we'll be looking at various web hosting platforms, and then we'll be also looking at what domain name is and different domain name providers. After that, we'll be diving into the demonstration of how we can host a website using any of the platform, and we'll be buying a premium domain name and connecting it to. So one thing that I want to let you know in the first itself is if you have any queries, please do put that in the chat section. I'll be monitoring that at last. Okay, so if there's anything, I will be covering up at last. Okay, and yes, so let's actually start. And before that, one more thing that I want to do is if you don't have an index.html file, that is a web HTML file that need to be hosted on the platform, you can download it using the link which will be provided in the chat section just now. Okay, I'll put that. So maybe, yeah. So you can actually, um, I added a comment in the chat section. You can actually go to that link and access a index.html file. So it's a template file which has been developed using Tailwind CSS and Tail blocks. So you can actually edit that as per your requirement, and you can actually use it as your own portfolio site or anything that you would like to do with that. Okay, so yeah, let's start right now. So first thing, before getting started with what Azure is, I just want to briefly mention about what cloud platform is. So if you're actually active on various social media like LinkedIn or Facebook or some platforms like that, you might have came across a video put forward by a student of White Hat Junior. Like cloud is an imaginary space around us, and there's no physical devices present. It is freely accessible, and some things of like some things like that. Okay, so what actually is meant by cloud is that it's actually the entire opposite thing that is said in that particular video. That is, cloud is a computer which can be accessed over internet. So basically, where this computer will be present is, I'll just mention it like this. Okay, various companies or organizations that has enough infrastructure to host these kind of computers will be building computers at large scales, and people like us who are developers can access that over internet as per our needs. We can actually customize that based on our needs. We can add any amount of RAM which we require. We can add any amount of memory which we require. We can add the computational power which we require, and we can use it for any purpose that we want. Okay, so cloud is a virtual computer that can be accessed over internet, and it can be used for any purpose. We can actually host our websites. We can actually host our web apps. We can actually create a virtual machine and connect our system to that particular virtual machine. And there's actually a lot of applications using cloud. And you might know this. There's actually four major cloud service providers currently in the industry, and the first one is Azure, which is leading um, in front of all. Then the next one is Google Cloud, then AWS, then we have Alibaba Cloud, and there's actually a lot of them. Okay, DigitalOcean, and actually Oracle Cloud. There's actually a lot of them. IBM is currently shifting to the cloud. IBM is actually focusing into cloud from this week onwards, and there's actually a lot of cloud service providers which you can use. And right now we'll be looking into Azure, which is the cloud computing platform provided by Microsoft. Okay, so what Azure offers to you is actually countless. I have tried to list out some of the exciting things that is accessible over Azure or accessible on Azure, and some of them are virtual machines. As I said earlier, you can create a lot of virtual machines or virtual computers that you can access over internet based on your preference. So if you want to develop, or if you want to create a virtual machine of having 64 gigs of RAM, you can actually do that. If you want to create um, processor high-end processor, you can actually do that on cloud. Be it any service provider, you can actually do that. And the main specialty of this is we don't have to spend a lot, like we'll be spending only a fraction of the cost which we'll be spending if you are buying that particular physical hardware. Okay, so almost all the service providers offers something called as pay as you go plan. That is, if you're using for 1 second, you'll be only paying for that particular 1 second. You don't have to pay for the whole infrastructure, and that's one of the main advantage of using cloud services. Then cloud artificial intelligence or machine learning can be done on cloud. And then DevOps, mixed reality, IoT. I hope mixed reality is I don't think most of you guys have known that mixed reality stuffs can be done on Azure, right? So mixed reality is what do we say, coolest thing that can be performed on Azure. Then we can host IoT hubs. We can actually go for anything that is a SaaS. SaaS is actually software as a service. Okay, we can go with anything, and there's a lot more. We can create a SQL database. We can actually purchase a domain name using Azure. We can host a website, which will be the thing which will be focusing in this session, and we can actually do a lot of things like that. And this is a basic overview of Azure. So while I move to the demo stage, I'll be just briefly taking you through the Azure platform. Okay, and yes, this is the theory part. Just we can just cover it in a little time. And next, I want to talk about Azure App Service. So this is the thing which you read in the title of the posters and everything. Okay, so Azure App Service is a platform. It's actually a fully managed platform which can be used for building and deploying and scaling your web application. This is the definition. Okay, definition in the sense what that product really is. So it's you can consider it like this. It's actually a platform where you can actually deploy your web applications or APIs, and there's everything that you need to do that or to manage that. Everything is available in that one particular app service platform itself. So some of the features of app service is that you can actually host applications which is running on .NET Core, Node.js, Java, Python, or PHP, and we'll be having access to Windows or Linux servers, and you can actually select which one you want. And regarding all these languages, you can actually select whichever version you want, and it will be available for you. The next one is it has built-in infrastructure management. That is, once you're creating an app service, it's like you're creating a virtual machine. It's like creating a computer or a server for your purposes. You can actually access any tool that you want to manage that particular infrastructure. Okay, whether you want to scale up in a later stage, or whether you want to scale down in a later phase, or whether you want automatic scaling based on the visitors to your website or your application. Everything is accessible inside that particular platform. Okay, then you can also do CI/CD deployments directly without like in zero downtime. That is, you can actually directly take your content to production level without having any downtime. Okay, then it also has a lot of security options, and there's a lot of things available. We'll be covering some of them in the next stage of the session. Okay, and finally, Microsoft Azure offers you 99.95% of uptime. That is nearly 100% of uptime, and they do keep their promise. And one more thing that I want to mention over here is Azure is one of the most fastest cloud service provider. Okay, and yeah, now let's look at what you get with an Azure account. Okay, so Azure account. Actually, anyone can create an Azure account. There's no nothing like only these kind of people will be able to create an account, or only students can create, or only developers can create. There's nothing like that. Actually, anyone can create an account on Azure. Okay, and one of the most amazing things of this Azure platform is that it has one of the most elegant user interface or the dashboard. Actually, everything is clean over there. I'll be just showing that in a little while. Okay, and it's actually super easy to use that, and everything is at your fingertips, or actually your pointer tips. Okay, and um, if you're a new customer of Azure, or if you're going to start a new account on Azure, you'll be getting $300 worth of credit, or sometimes $250 worth of credits based on the region. And yeah, it will be available for all. Okay, so I'm seeing a question in the chat section: what is uptime? So uptime is basically like, I'll just mention it in simple terms. Like, you're going to host something on a different computer, right? So we'll be what do we say, we'll be expecting that it should be available always. Like whenever I'm going to that particular, actually it will be accessible with a particular URL, right? Maybe if the website of something is azure.com, then it should be accessible always, right? So that is called as uptime. That is, it should be available from any place in the world. Okay, so zero nearly 100% uptime means it will be nearly available for all the time, whether it's morning or night or evening or any time, it will be available. Okay, so that is sometimes we know. So if while we are visiting some websites, we might say that the server crashed, or the website you are searching for is not accessible right now, or some sort of things like that, right? So that happens because the server crashed due to some particular constraints. So in this particular case there won't be such an issue. And one more thing, you might have read on various media platforms like Cloudflare DNS is down. Nearly a lot of Google products is not working for a while, or maybe Microsoft products is working. I haven't heard about Microsoft actually. So mainly Google is not working, a lot of stuffs like that, right? So that's because some sort of error is happening in that backend part. And in this case of Microsoft, they're assuring 99.95% of uptime, which basically means that it will be up and running always, and you'll be able to access that at any point of time. Okay, so yes, that's regarding what is uptime. I hope I have cleared your query. Okay, and if not, we can actually discuss it further towards last. Okay, so coming back, yeah, you'll be having access to $300 credit if you are signing up for the first time. And there's actually 25 plus free tools which will be available always. So once you run out of this $300 credit and the time limit for that particular thing, you'll be still having access to 25 plus free tools, basically the free version, free tier of that particular tools, which will be actually enough for almost all of our basic requirements. Then enterprise level subscription is also available. Basically you can actually take subscription for all of these particular things as a group, and a lot of discounts will be available. Then special offers are available for students. So this particular $300 credit is available for anyone who is creating a new Azure account, and for a student account another $100 is available, which can be accessed if you verify yourself as a student. And one of the other factor of this Azure is that it is cheap compared to other platforms. In some cases, it's a little bit over others like Google Cloud Platform, but on nearly almost all the cases, it has low cost compared to all others. Okay, now let's look at what web hosting is. So web hosting, as I said earlier for the question, web hosting is something like we'll be storing a data on the web so that it can be accessed from anywhere around the world at any time. Basically that's the uptime. Okay, that's uptime. So we require that particular thing while we are hosting a website or any sort of application like that, right? So that is maybe let's say something like this. Facebook as a website is hosted on a platform which has 100% uptime, and we can access Facebook from anywhere in this world at any time, right? So basically that's web hosting. Like we are storing a file, basically HTML files or maybe PHP files or any files, any sort of files which creates a web application or a website, we'll be storing on a computer which is not with us, that is which can be accessed over internet. Okay, and we'll be getting a URL corresponding to that, which redirects any visitor to that particular website hosted on that virtual server, and the website will be visible. Okay, so some of the platforms which can be used for web hosting are Firebase, then we can use Azure for that, we can use GitHub for that, we can use 000 web host, actually DigitalOcean, and we can use any cloud service provider for hosting our website. Then there are other platforms, custom platforms for that too. Okay, so we'll be using GitHub for the demonstration purpose in this video, but I will also be showing how you can host a static website on Azure. So that's one particular advantage for hosting a static website on Azure. As I said earlier, Azure is super cheap, and for hosting a static website it doesn't cost much. Okay, like even if you're even if you're hosting a static website on Azure, and there's actually a lot of visitors, even then the cost per month will be around only $1 only. Okay, it's actually super cheap to host a static website with Azure. So I'll just demonstrate that a little bit later. Okay, so that's regarding web host. And after web host, in most of the cases what happens is we'll be getting a website URL which should be having branding of that particular domain. For example, if you're hosting a static website simply on Azure, you'll be having something like Azure sites associated with the URL. If it's Firebase, you'll be having username.firebaseapp.com. If it's GitHub, you'll be having your username.github.io. And if it's in the case of 000 web host, it will be something similar to that. Okay, so to avoid that, we'll be using something called as domain names. So to talk about domain names, I think this picture talks about it, okay, as a whole. So as we see over here, the website over here is http www.tinydancinghost.com. Over here, HTTP is a protocol. Right now, HTTPS is mostly accepted, and usually HTTP websites are not preferred. Okay, because it's actually quite older and it offers less security when compared to HTTPS. Okay, so that's a protocol part. Then we have www over here, which is a subdomain. So in most of the cases, a website will be having www in front of the domain name, actual domain, right? So that's called a subdomain. We can actually fix which subdomain we want, and we'll just show you how that can be done while we are connecting a domain name. Okay, and then comes our actual domain name, which we'll be purchasing based on our requirements with along with the top level domain name. So .com is a top level domain name. There's actually a lot of domain names like .com, .in is for India, .ca is for Canada, .us for USA, .org for organizations, .edu for educational institutions. There's actually a lot of domain extensions that is called as domain extensions, and we'll be purchasing a domain name along with a domain extension. Like if you want something like, if your name is maybe something like Arjun, and if you want a domain name for that particular name, then there'll be a lot of options. Like you can purchase arjun.com, arjun.in, arjun.us, arjun.anything you can purchase. Actually, there's a limit, but most of the times it is available based on the need. And after purchasing that, you can connect actually a subdomain if you want, and we can actually um, connect it to our website so that we can share that instead of the custom branded URL which is getting as a part of the web hosting platform. Okay, so that's regarding this domain names. So next we'll be looking at some domain name providers. So this is an amazing way. So there's actually a lot of domain name providers. So these domain names are actually initiated by ICANN, which monitors all the domains and their extensions. And some platforms or intermediate marketers like Namecheap, GoDaddy, Google Domains, and such similar platforms will be reselling these domain names. Okay, so some of the main providers are GoDaddy, Namecheap, Freenome, Google Domains, Dynadot, and many things. So as I mentioned over here, Freenome actually offers some free domain names for a year. So some of them are .tk, .cf, .ga, .ml, and domain names like these are freely accessible for 1 year by anyone. Okay, and after that you'll be paying if you require that. Okay, and then regarding Dynadot also offers free .xyz domain extension. Okay, free domain names having .xyz domain extension for graduate students. So I'll be sharing the link to that particular website later on, or maybe with the uh, with another mail. Okay, so it's actually something cool. You can actually use it to develop a website within that particular platform, or you can actually use it to redirect to your website. So in this particular what do we say video, or in this particular session, we'll be actually purchasing a domain name from GoDaddy using Azure. Okay, so GoDaddy will be the marketer, and we'll be using Azure as an intermediate platform to purchase our domain name. Okay, so yes, so that's actually that's actually the end of that PPT thing which I had. So let's actually dive into the demonstration part right away. Okay, so this is the website link which I shared earlier in the chat section. So if you don't have a index.html file, you can actually go to this particular Google Drive folder. You're using this particular link. It's actually bit.ly/index what do you say underscore sample. Okay, index underscore sample. Okay, so I put that in the chat section. so you can actually access that from that Google Drive folder. Okay. So bit.ly/index underscore sample. Okay. So it's actually a file which I created for demonstration purpose. You can actually use it to use it for any purpose. You can actually edit that and you can actually use for any purpose. So it's actually created with Tailwind CSS and Tail Blocks, which is actually an online platform which helps us creating um, or responsive websites easily. Okay, so if you want to know how you can create websites within 15 minutes, so say 20 minutes, you can actually check out some videos in in this channel itself. So it's actually accessible in this channel and you can actually try that out. Okay, so let's now move on to the Azure platform. Okay, so I think my browser is visible. I think yes. Okay, uh, so let's actually go to azure.microsoft.com. Okay. So here, as you can see over here, this is the platform that is Microsoft Azure platform. So as you can see, there's actually a lot of things which is provided over here. I have actually created an account with my email ID and I have some subscriptions in this. So I'll be using that for the demonstration purposes. Okay. Actually, you can go ahead and create one for your own, and let's check. Okay, we're going to Azure. So yeah, you can actually sign in over here for a free account, and the $300 credit will be accessible with that. You can actually there's actually some certain instructions which will be provided while you sign up. You can actually just follow that and you can actually create your account and get started with us. Okay, so I'll just close this and go back to my account. So as you can see over here, there's a lot of features which is being mentioned over here. Some of the things that you can do with this, as I said earlier, AI plus machine learning. um, if you're selecting that, you can actually see what you can do with this platform: build, train and deploy machine learning models, detect content with vision and speech functions, a lot of things. It will actually take a lot of time to cover all of these things, so you can actually check them out. So this is the link, azure.microsoft.com. Okay, you can just, or you can just search for Microsoft Azure and you'll be taken to this particular platform. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, after creating your account, you can actually go to portal.azure .com. Okay, that's a place where we have access to our dashboard. Okay, so it will be loading right now. Okay, so this is the dashboard. Okay, it's actually quite a simple user interface over here. So these particular area covers or the resources which I'm using right now. Okay, I have actually some resources over here, some resource groups and all those things over here. And yeah, that's regarding that particular thing. Okay, so what we have to do is, before going to Azure, actually what we can do is we can actually host a website. Okay, so this is the website template that I have shared with you guys. So basically it's simple. Like there's a navigation bar over here, you can edit that in the HTML file. Then you have a hero section over here, followed by some sort of template thing which can be used to represent the data, then some more thing over here, and finally the footer section. You can actually edit each and everything in this particular template, including the colors, so that you can actually customize this based on your requirement. Okay, so we'll be hosting this particular website. Okay, so what we can do is, first actually let's try hosting it via Azure itself. So what I am going to do is, after signing into Azure and going to the portal, what I'm going to do is I'm going to search for storage accounts over here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on storage accounts over here, and I'll be asked to create a storage account over here. So as you can see, there's no storage account over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on add over here. Okay, so once we click on that, uh, let's wait. Okay, I'm asked to create a storage account over here, and basically I have two subscriptions over here. One is Azure for Students, which is accessible by anyone, and one is Visual Studio Enterprise subscription. So I'm actually going with this Visual Studio Enterprise subscription, and you have to create a resource group. So basically thing like this, resource group is a group of things that is collectively stored. Okay, stored collectively, basically some sort of file. So things which is a part of a project itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create new resource group. So I'm going to name it, uh, what can we name our website? Okay, let's name it static profile. I'm going to name it static profile over here, and I'm going to click on OK over here. So after that, I have to give a storage account name. So basically, the storage account name should be unique. Okay, existing, so the name must be unique across all existing storage account names in this particular thing. So I'm just going to copy that itself. That is static, or maybe we can go with static web app. I don't think it's actually took by someone else. So let's actually give something else. Static uh, static web profile. Okay, so I'm giving a storage account name as static web profile, and then you can actually select any location which you want from this list. I'm going with the default central US, and then for the performance, if you want premium, you can opt for premium, or if you want the standard edition itself, you can actually choose standard. So let's just stick with the standard since it's a demonstration purpose, and I think most of our requirements will be met by the standard account itself. And then you don't have to select anything from this. I'm going to click on review, review plus create over here. So and now what we have to do is it'll be taking some time, like, yeah, now we have to click on create. So if there was any error in naming or all those kind of things, then over here this particular error will be, that particular error will be showing. And since there was no error, validation pass is shown over here. Okay, so now let's click on create over here. So this will be taking around say 10 to 20 seconds. And yeah, let's wait till that time. So in the meantime, if you're having any queries, you can put that in the chat section, and let's quickly answer that. Okay, so this creation and deployment of that particular source group will be taking around 10 to 20 seconds. So if you're having any queries, you can just put that right now. I think there's no query yet. That's interesting. So just feel free to ask anything that you want to ask. Okay, or if you want to repeat anything, you can put that in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to do that. Okay, since I'm not seeing any queries, as well as our deployment is complete by the right now, let's continue with this. Okay, so now as you can see over here, the deployment is complete. Okay, and you can actually go click on go to resource over here, and you'll be taken to uh, this particular page. Okay, so I am seeing one particular query. What's the expense after the free period? Okay, the expense, I'll be just telling about that in a little while, or maybe I think I'll just share it right away. Okay, so there's as I said earlier regarding hosting a static website using Azure, it costs like only a very little amount. Even if you're having thousands or tens of thousands of visitors for your website, Azure static hosting that particular service will be costing you as little as $1 per month at max. Okay, so that will happen if you're having a lot of visitors, or else it's actually super cheap. It's actually nearly free. Okay, and that will be the expense after the free period. And there's something else, there's something called as app services. So for app services, there's actually a lot of plans which is available, ranging from I think 200 per month, 200, 100, 160 per month, up to lakhs, based on the production level which we require. Obviously that particular high amount is used by other companies that is having products in the production level. Okay, so we won't be requiring any of that. At most we'll be requiring something like the basic plan, which will be costing around 900 per month. Okay, but we won't be using that in this particular demonstration, because we are having something much more simpler, which can be used for our which can be used to meet our purpose. So right now our cost will be much less. And regarding the purchase of domains, if you are utilizing your student account benefit, as well as the welcome account benefit, like new account benefits like $300 or $100, you can actually do anything with that in the given time, maybe 1 month for that new account and 1 year for the student uh, account. And regarding purchase of domain, as you might know, purchasing a domain is usually done for is usually done once in a year, and I think all these credits will be can be used up before that to purchase anything that we want, and it will be available for at least a year. And if you want to continue with that, you can actually go for a payment after that. Okay, so now let's continue with this. I hope I cleared your query. If not, you can actually mention that in the chat section. Okay. Okay, anyway, let's continue with this. So we created a storage account called a static web profile over here. And there's a lot of things which is present over here. You don't have to worry about that right now. So, okay, what I'm going to do right now is, as I said earlier, we are going to host a static website, right? So once you search static on here, you'll be seeing an option like static website over here. You can just click on that. And once you click on that, you'll be taken to this particular page where it will be showing disabled or enabled. So we have to enable static website before continuing. Okay, so I'm going to click on enabled over here. And right now, as you can see over here, it's showing two columns, that is index document name as well as the error document path. So index document name is that particular HTML file or the page which should be visible while we load a URL. That is, for example, if you're going to a website like youtube.com, we'll be viewing a particular page, right? So that particular page is called as the index document. That is that particular document which need to be showed at first. So since, as I said earlier, since our as you can see over here, our what do we say, HTML file name is index.html, I'm going to give that itself over here. Okay, yeah, index.html. Okay, and then I'm going to click on save over here. Okay, and as you can see over here, it has been saved, and it's showing that an Azure storage container has been created to host your static website. Okay, so this particular container is called as web, and we'll be storing our HTML files in that particular container. So you can see, as you can see over here, this is the URL which is accessible right now. So if you are going to that particular URL right now, there won't be anything because there's nothing inside that particular thing. It's saying the requested content does not exist because we haven't hosted anything yet. So what you have to do is just click on web over here and you'll be taken to that particular thing or that particular container. Okay, so right now we are inside web. As you can see over here, right now we are inside our web container. And what you can do is you can actually upload your files. So I'm going to upload my index.html file. So I can just click on this particular folder over here and select a file from my desktop. So I'm going to select index over here, and I'm going to click on upload over here. And it's like, it will be actually super quick. As you can see, it's taking just 17 kilobyte. Okay, so right now it's actually available. And one thing that you had to do is you had to select this particular index.html and then click on change access level. And as you can see, it's right now private because since it's private, no one will be able to view that. So what you have to do is you have to select blob from that particular listing, and then you have to click on OK. And right now let's try to reload that particular URL which we copied earlier, and our website is visible. As you can see, this is not locally hosted. This is actually hosted on Azure right now. Hosting an static website on Azure is as simple as this. Okay, and one thing that you'll be finding is the URL is quite awkward. That's okay, we can actually change that. If you didn't copy the URL earlier, you can just click on index.html over here and the URL will be shown in little while. Yeah, as you can see, this is the URL. Actually, you can go to that particular, this is locally hosted one. I'm just going to close all of them, and you can actually go to that particular URL, and there you'll be viewing your website which is up and running. Okay, so right now if I share this particular URL with anyone, you can actually access this. Okay, so yes, that's regarding that. So what I'm going to do next is, let's actually do something like I'm going back to this particular storage account over there. Okay, wait a minute. My storage account, boot resources. Yeah, yep. Wait a minute. Actually, yeah. So inside the containers, you'll be viewing this particular thing. Okay. Uh, Actually, what's this? This is that particular container which we created, or which got created for us while we enabled the static website thing. Okay. So if you want to go back to that particular directly, you can click on that itself. Okay, and it will be visible over here. So I'm just going back for a moment. And right now what I'm going to do is, from the left section, I'm going to select Azure CDN over here. So once you click on Azure CDN over there, you have the option to actually customize your that particular domain name, this particular domain name to some extent. Okay, let's check how that can be done. So I'm going to click on create new CDN profile over here, and I'm going to name that. Wait a minute. Static web profile itself. Okay, I'm going to just copy that, make sure that there's nothing associated with that. So it should be unique too. Okay, and I'm going to select standard pricing tier for the time being, and the CDN endpoint name. So that's one particular thing that we can customize right now. So if I want to name it as static web profile itself, if it's not took by any other people, you can actually use that, and your website will be accessible at staticwebprofile.azure.net. Okay, and just keep this as it is. Okay, and then you can click on create. It will be taking some time, uh, and after that you can actually view this particular website at staticwebprofile.azure.net. Okay, so it's actually creating a CDN endpoint, that is basically content delivery network. Okay, and that is, if you're going to this particular URL, that particular content which we have hosted right now will be visible. Okay, so that's regarding hosting a static website using Azure. Okay, so once this is done, we'll be moving on to GitHub, and we'll be checking how we can host our website on GitHub. So I'll be actually suggesting you to host your website on GitHub. So there are a few advantages for that. Basically, GitHub is actually a free platform, actually freemium platform, and it will be actually free for almost all of our purposes. We can actually host a lot of things over GitHub. We can actually host our website on that, and we can actually directly push to that particular repository from our IDE itself. Uh, okay, so, and we can actually host a web page using something called as GitHub pages. So as you can see over here, it's saying that this particular thing, that is wait a minute, yeah, static web profile.azure.edge.net is up and running. So let's just check whether it's accessible. Okay, it might be taking some time for that to get set. Okay, so in the meantime, let's move forward. Okay, so is there any doubts or queries that you have right now? If yes, I am actually like, we can actually clear that and move ahead. Okay, so if there's anything, please put up that in the chat section. Okay, or else let's actually move towards the GitHub part, and in the meantime, I'll just open up GitHub. I think there's no queries. So one thing that I want to ask with you is my screen visible, or is there any problem that you're facing with my voice, or is there any problem in viewing my screen? If yes, please put that in the chat section. Okay. Okay, I don't think there's any. So let's move forward with GitHub. So I think GitHub is a platform that is familiar to most of you guys. Okay, so I'm not going in detail about GitHub. So what you can do is you can create a repository. Click on new repository over there. Okay, after clicking on that, if you actually want to host your website as GitHub pages, what you can do is, if you haven't hosted anything like till now, you can actually input the repository name as something like username.github.io. So basically, in my case, it would be like Ravind144 dot github.io. So obviously this is not available for me because I have already hosted that. So if your GitHub username is something like Virat Kohli, then you can obviously put that viratkohli.github.io, and your GitHub pages will be set for that particular thing. So right now, since I already have one particular thing, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to rename it to something like static web profile itself. Okay, and I am going to make sure that you are opting public over here and you're not selecting private. Okay, so I'm just going to create repository over here. Let's wait till that is created. Okay, right now our repository is created and we can actually upload our files into this particular repository. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on upload an existing file over here, and we can upload our index.html file from my desktop. Okay, I'm actually uploading that, and after uploading that, let's wait a moment. Yeah, after uploading that, I'm going to click on commit changes over there. Okay, so right now it's actually loading. So if you have opted the repository name as username.github.io, you can actually put that. If you're obviously if your username is Virat Kohli, if you are searching for viratkohli.github.io, that particular website will be loading up. Again, GitHub is another simple hosting platform. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to click on settings over here. Okay, I'm going to click on settings over here, and while you're coming towards the bottom, you can actually see something like this: GitHub pages, an option for GitHub pages. So GitHub pages is the option using which we can actually uh, host our website on GitHub. So if you have opted something like username.github.io, automatically your website will be hosted on that particular thing and GitHub pages will be enabled. So since I opted for a username like a static web profile, which we dealt in Azure itself, or Azure 2, it's not in that particular username criteria, so I have to manually enable that. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the source of this particular repository to main. So what it does is it basically adds this particular repository to the root file of my repository, which I have created using aravind144.github.io. Okay, so what it does is my this particular website will be accessible um, from that from my website itself. So I'm just going to click on save, and after that you'll get to know what I meant. Okay, so that's actually my website available at ravindvenugopal.in, and right now, since I selected the branch as main, the website which we uploaded to GitHub or the Azure right now is available in this particular URL, that is ravindvenugopal.in slash static web profile, that is as a branch for that particular domain name. So as you can see over here, this is the domain name, and this is the website which we hosted in Azure too. Okay, as you can see, it's actually available over here, and right now it's running on. I think it's running on HTTP. That's why it's saying not secure. If you want, you can actually enforce HTTPS over here, and if you want to add a custom domain, you can actually do that over here. So what I'm going to do is let's actually go back to Azure. Let's actually um, create, or let's actually purchase a domain name, and that's the coolest thing, right? Hosting our domain name is simple, and the next task is obviously to what do we say, create a custom or purchase a custom domain, and that too for free, okay, using our credits available in our account, and only then we can actually do that. Like as you can see over here, my GitHub pages link is aravind144.github.io, and obviously aravind144.in is much more better than that, right? There's no branding in the case of GitHub, and there won't be anything if I have hosted that in Firebase or 000 web host or something like that. So what I'm going to do is you can actually search for app service domains. Okay, uh, app service domains. Make sure that it's app, not app services, and it's app service domains. You can actually click on that. Okay, after clicking on that, what you have to do is there'll be nothing over here. I already have two, so uh, those are listed over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually click on this add button over here so that we can purchase a new domain name. So for the demonstration purpose, I am going to purchase something like, maybe what can we purchase? Okay, let's purchase static web profile itself. So I'm going to actually first search for static web profile domain names over here. So as I said earlier, this is the domain name. So now some options will be listed for that particular domain extensions available. So right now, as you can see over here, static web.nl, static web profile dot static hyphen web profile.com, static web profiles.co.uk is available. Let's actually try searching for something like static web profile.com. Sometimes it will be available if it's not a premium domain name. So there's something called as premium domain name. Basically, the cost of which, usually the cost of a domain name will be ranging from 800 to say something like 1200 or 1500 at max. But in the case of a premium domain, that is, premium domains are those domains which has the domain name which is actually easily which can be easily remembered and easy to actually pronounce and things like that. For example, dailybasics.com is a premium domain name which is actually available at a premium domain fees. Okay, premium domain fees, except that particular domain fees at it's actually at 18 lakhs or something like that, basically $25,000. Okay, that's the case with premium domains. So if it's not a premium domain and if it's not already took up by any other people, you can actually access that. So as you can see over here, staticwebprofile.com is available. Okay, so right now I'm going to select Visual Studio Enterprise subscription. If you're having Visual Studio, uh, okay, if you're having um, the student Azure student subscription or something similar, then you can actually select that too. Okay, so I'm seeing that video is blurry. Okay, let me check what I can do with that. Okay, so thank you for pointing that out. Okay, wait a minute. I'm just muting myself. Okay, for a little while. And in the meantime, if you're having any queries, please put that in the chat section. Mm, I was not able to figure out why that happened actually. Uh, I just checked. My internet connection is stable right now, but I don't know what happened. Okay, let me try something else. Let me try actually removing my screen and adding that again. Guys, I think it's okay right now. Can you please confirm whether it's okay? I think it's okay right now. Please confirm that if possible. Maybe Namshad or Shahim. Or can anyone please confirm that? Okay, I think it's okay right now. Okay, now it's ready. Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you for confirming that. Let's move forward. So I'll just brief what all I just covered right now. So I just searched for my custom domain over here, that is staticwebprofile.com over here. Basically, you'll be having access to all those domains which are not premium domains and those which is not already used by any other user. Okay, so there'll be a lot of things listed and you can actually select whichever one is required by you and it will be accessible. You can just confirm whether it's selected or not over here, and after that over here you can actually select the subscription which you want to provide. So right now I'm going with something like Visual Studio Enterprise subscription, which is one thing that I'm having right now. Okay, and after that I'm going to create a new resource group, or maybe I already created a resource group earlier. Okay, that is static profile, so I'm just selecting that. Basically doing that will keep all my files related to this particular static web profiles under one resource group, and if I later have to change anything or if I have to delete something, I can easily do that. So I'm going to click on what do we say, like I'm going to select that particular resource group which I created earlier itself, and after that over here I have to give some contact informations over here. So I'm going to give my name and details over here. I don't think there's any information that I shouldn't be sharing online over here. Just I'm going to I'm just going to give organization as MLSA and then job as developer, and mail has Aravind, that student home, email ID, country code. It's basically India, so that's 91. Okay, let's look at phone number. Select that. And regarding the address, I'm going to give address, and it's too random. And yeah, it's going to remove that. Okay, yeah, there's a word limit of 41 or 40 or something like that over here. That's the reason why an error showed. And the country is India, so I'm going to select that. State is Kerala. I'm going to add that. City is Trivandrum. Postal code is 6950. Okay, over there. Okay. Now it will be actually verifying whether all my information is correct, and if it's correct, it will be validating, and we can move further ahead. Okay. And yeah, now we can actually go for that privacy protection. And in the case of domain extensions like org.uk or co.uk or .co.in or .in, you won't be having privacy protection for this particular domain name. Since we are going with something like static web profile.com, that is domain extension is .com, you can actually enable or disable your privacy protection. I'm actually enabling this privacy protection because an extra layer of protection for private details is obviously better. And then I have to accept all the legal terms. And as you can see, the cost for this domain name is $12, which is basically around, I think, 900 Indian rupees. I'm just going to accept all the legal terms and conditions, and I'm going to click on create over here. Okay, let's wait till that is created. Okay, so in the meantime, if there's any queries, you can put that in the chat section. So as you can see over here, the deployment is in progress. Okay, so it'll be taking some time for our resources to be get deployed. Okay, let's wait till that. And so this is the place where we have to add our custom domain. That is, we purchased our domain name was, I think it was not profile.com. We can actually confirm that right now. It's actually again getting deployed. Let's wait till that. So I hope that there isn't any queries or doubts till now. Okay. Um, it'll be taking some time. Obviously, it'll be taking some time because all the resources associated with this particular thing, like the app server, the resource groups, the DNS for this particular domain name, and everything need to be deployed, initiated as well as deployed. So it'll be taking around 2 to 3 minutes. Okay. Let's wait till that. So the next steps will be taking just around 5 to 10 minutes, and we'll be wrapping up after that. And like after that, we'll be having a small Q&A if there's any. And after that, we'll be wrapping up the session. So I don't think there's any queries till now. Please feel free to put them up if you're having anything. I'll be more than happy to answer them. Okay. Okay. Uh, so as you can see over here, our deployment is over, and we can actually move forward to our resources. Wait a minute. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on go to resources section over here so that we can move forward to that particular thing and set up all the required things. And inside this particular thing, this is a web domain which we purchased. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this domain name, and I'm going back to a GitHub. Inside settings, inside the GitHub pages section, I'm going to add that particular thing over here. That is staticwebprofile.com. So as you can see, if you are going to search for staticwebprofile.com right now, nothing will be visible because we just brought our website, that is domain name, and we haven't connected anything. Okay. So yeah, let's actually continue. I'm going to click on save over here so that the required CNAME file will be added to our repository automatically. Okay. So as you can see, staticwebprofile.com is added, and you can actually click on enforce HTTPS over here. Actually, let's actually wait a moment. Let's actually continue with all other things and then come back and set up this HTTPS. And inside this particular Azure, after selecting that particular domain name inside app services, oh, not app services, this particular thing, app service domain, you can click on manage DNS, since we'll be editing the DNS records of this particular domain name to redirect to our website. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add record set over here. So over here we had to add our record set over here. So at first what I have to do is I have to set up some A records over here. So basically we have to provide the IP address of the hosting platform. So since we use GitHub right now, we have to provide the IP address of GitHub so that we can point this particular domain to their servers. Okay. So there's actually four IP addresses used by GitHub. So I'll just add them over here. So the first one is 185.199.108.153, and the next one is, you can actually just add one by one over here. And the next one is, it's 109, and the next one is 110 and 111. Let's hit that 0, and finally it's 111. You don't have to change anything over here right now. Let's the time to leave, and everything will can be set to default. And let's click on OK over here. And next we can add our, what do we say, that particular thing which I said earlier, that is subdomain, something like www or something like that, some sort of things like that. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on again add record set over here, and then I'm going to provide something like www over there, then change this type A to CNAME, and you can actually add that particular alias that is linked to your uh, GitHub hosted thing, that is that particular URL over here. Since mine is, I don't know whether I can add mine right now because it's added to root. Let's actually try that. Okay, anyway, let's try that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this particular thing Okay, I can't add that because what happened is it should be something like the root directory itself. You can't add the branches over there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, okay, let's play with, maybe, what can we play with? Okay, I'll make some quick changes so that we can move forward with that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, okay, guys, it will take some time, that is 1 or 2 minutes. So in the meantime, if you're having any queries, you can actually put that in the chat section. So what I'm going to do is, um, I'm actually removing my website from this GitHub hosting service. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to rename this particular repository, because I can't find any other alternatives right now other than to set up a new account on GitHub. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to name it as my website, identify that later on, and I can just rename that. Okay, okay, to confirm whether I have access to GitHub pages. Okay, okay, so now I have cleared that particular thing. So now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to rename this static web profile repository name to something like Arvind1444.github.io. I'm going to rename that because, and right now I'm using that particular thing, that is username.github.io, because there was an issue like we can't host any files that is actually available in the available as a branch in the root directory. We have to host that root directory as it is. Okay, so yeah, let's move further. So what I'm going to do is, I just rename that. Let's now check whether Arvind 144, that thing is available right now or not. Okay. So what I'm going to do right now is, I'm going to um, select this particular name, that is username.github.io thing, and I'm going to paste it as alias over here. And after doing that, I'm just going to put a dot at last, that is arvind1444.github.io dot. So as to mention that there's nothing apart from this particular URL, and then I'm going to click on OK over here. Okay, so now it's creating the record set based on that particular username. Okay, wait a minute, guys. So right now what I'm going to do is, okay, I'm just going to reload this particular page. And after that, I'm going to the settings section. Okay, yes, and over here in this GitHub pages section, you can see my site is published in that particular repository. And once I clicked on that particular thing, it took me to that particular page, that is staticwebprofile.com. Okay, basically what I did was, I pointed that particular CNAME alias to this arvind144.github.io. So as I said earlier, uh, like, um, if you are renaming our repository as your username.github.io, your that particular web page will be automatically hosted in that particular URL, that is username.github.io itself, and we can actually point our websites to that particular alias. That's what we did with this thing. Okay, so and we added staticwebprofile.com, which is the domain name which we purchased to the GitHub pages section earlier, so that it was added to this. Yeah, so that it was so yeah, so this was added to this particular repository. So I just saw one question, that is this domain name free by Namshad? So Namshad, the thing is, domain name is actually not free. It's actually costing $12 nearly, but we actually brought that for free. That was one of the main intention behind this particular session. That is to host this website as well as purchase a premium domain, not premium, purchase a top level domain name for free. Basically, what happens is if you sign up for Azure, that is basically if you create a new account on Azure, you'll actually get access to $300 credit which you can spend within a month. And if you're a student, you'll be having access to another $100 for a year. You can actually use that particular amount within Azure to purchase domain names or to purchase anything that you want inside this Azure platform. Okay, so that's one amazing feature which I haven't viewed on any other cloud service providers. Okay, basically, even in the case of Google Cloud or AWS, you'll be even if you're having credits, you won't be able to purchase domain names. So Azure has made that possible for us. That is everything within one particular platform. So that's one amazing feature of Azure. Okay, so basically, yes, we brought this for free, but this domain name is not free. Okay, I hope I cleared your query, right? Is that okay, Namshad? I think it's okay. Yeah. Anyway, let's continue. Actually, there isn't much thing left. Okay, we can actually as you can see over here, there's one more thing that is left for us to do, that is to enforce HTTPS. You can actually click on that and you can actually just reload this page. And okay, it's saying that there's some issues with setting up. Okay, it's saying that there were some issues with this particular values over here. Actually, the thing is, these four things are correct. Actually, it'll be taking some time for HTTPS to be enabled, but basically you'll be having access to this particular domain name even if you are searching right now, that is staticwebprofile.com. You'll be able to view this particular website, and HTTPS will be enabled in a little while. Okay, so yeah, that was basically everything. So actually, even if you're hosting your website on platforms like 000 web host, Firebase, AWS, or Azure itself, you can actually do the same thing. You can actually create um, domains. You can actually purchase domains within Azure. You can actually redact. Even if you're hosting even if you're hosting on Firebase, that's no problem. You can actually purchase domains for any particular need, any particular need, and you can actually add all those CNAME stuffs and records, basically records, DNS records, which need to be done, and your website will be accessible. It doesn't matter whether you have purchased it on Azure or anything. Basically, the intention was using Azure, you can actually get these domain names for free. So as I said earlier, it was $12 for this domain name. Okay, it was $12, but we got it for free, and it wouldn't have been possible for any other cloud platforms. And yep, that's it. So basically, what we did was we actually covered almost all of this. Like I think all of this. That is, wait a minute. Yep. We covered about Azure, then we talked about Azure App Services, then we talked about web hosting platforms, we talked about hosting a website using GitHub, which we viewed earlier. That is, what you have to do is you have to just input your repository name as your username.github.io, and you can just add your files. Then you can actually go to Azure and purchase a domain name as I showed in this particular session. After that, you can actually set your DNS records in such a way that it's pointing to the servers of GitHub, and that's with buying and connecting a domain name. So basically, we covered all the stuffs um, required for this. So I'll be happy to take up some questions if you're having anything. I can see that the video is a little bit blurry. I am not able to figure out why that happened, because I still believe that I'm having a stable network connection over here. I think there's some problem in the backend services which I'm using right now. Okay. So if you're having any queries, I can see 8 people are viewing this live stream right now. Thank you guys for watching this till now. Actually, please feel free to share this particular thing, not this particular video. You can actually share this knowledge with your friends, because this is one particular amazing thing. Everyone will be having a dream to or dream of owning their own domain names, right? So you can actually use this particular method to host your domain names for free. So if you're having any questions, please put that in the chat section. I will be happy to answer that. Okay, please feel free to put them up right now. So officially, we have actually covered. Yeah, I can understand that. My voice is clear and video is blurry sometimes. As I said, I'm using a platform called a StreamYard. I don't know why that is happening. I checked my internet stability in between, and it was actually showing good results. Okay, I don't know what happened with that. Okay, so if there's any questions, so you can actually put that in this. I hope I was able to cover everything, solve all of your queries. Okay, so please, yes. And one more thing before going, there's actually feedback form which is put in the chat section. Okay, please fill that feedback form. Basically, that particular details will be used. What do we say? That particular details will be used to send you certificates and all. So please fill that feedback form. So please make sure that you're providing correct details in this feedback form, so that there won't be any mistakes in the certificates. Okay, so yes, I hope there ain't any queries till now. I hope I was clear. So if there's anything, please feel free to put that in the chat section. And thank you for joining in this session. I'm also thanking Advait for monitoring everything and helping me throughout this session. Okay, and yeah, I'm just waiting whether anyone is going to put up the questions. I'm still waiting. So another update which I would like to provide right now is the website which we hosted right now is actually available over HTTPS protocol. Let's now just try to reload this. As you can see, it's now secure. It's actually having HTTPS encryption right now, and now the website is secure. Okay. So as I said earlier, it just takes some time for that HTTPS part to get set. Okay. So everything is accessible right now, as you can see over here. Okay. So I think we can wrap up this session. I'm not seeing any queries coming up. Okay. Advait, is there anything that you would like to add up? Please go ahead. Please feel free to go ahead.
Thank you guys for attending this session. We are extremely happy that you have showed up for our session. So there will be more such events coming from Microsoft Launch Student Ambassadors Kerala. You can check out our website at mlsakerala.github.io. We will be focusing on providing free sessions like this. Sometimes it may be a YouTube live, otherwise some live events as such. So feel free to contact any of us or our to our mail provided in this website, so that you can reach out. So if you want us to come up with any events on a specific topic and all, you can just add in that in the feedback form or else. Okay. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you guys for joining. We are going to wrap up this session. So please feel free to check out MLSA Kerala website at mlsakerala.github.io. Okay, we'll be updating everything on that particular website. So yes, once again, thank you for joining, guys. I'm going to end this broadcast right now. Bye, guys.